allow us, when the smoke gets blown to the right, to suggest the inhalation of wind from whatever this mechanism that we discover would be, and we can have that respond with an animation as well. I'm just trying to figure out how the apparatus would. I don't know. Frank, do you wanna sketch through some designs for it along with Cody?
Yeah, yeah. Give me one moment. I'm messing everything up here.
Sure. A tail to the windmill will help the direction the wind is facing. That's true too. Ghosty skills. I'm thinking like almost something that looks like a combination or a cross. I almost don't want to say now because it could color your perception of what it would be like. But from how it was described, almost.
John?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm gonna head off for a bit.
Okay.
When you guys are gonna go over the storyboard stuff, just message me.
Yep. We'll do, John.
Okay.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Almost like a phonograph and the inner membrane of an accordion, like the top bill of a phonograph.
Hmm.
I was thinking.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just interested in seeing what happens out of the bare idea, but like I think the concept of a lung is like kind of interesting to me. But I think like the most interesting part is like somehow it's working within the stone and like structure of the rock already. Like it's inside this like stiff thing.
That almost reminds me of a church organ.
Yeah, and it would be neat, like, I guess, make it out of, these, like, tubes or whatever that's capturing this stuff could be made out of the wood, kind of like a hollowed out, like, almost like a reed instrument, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sticking up from the rock. And then that gives Justice even more to play with.
Yeah.
And they could maybe shut something, like, maybe, like, if you think about, they have these facing all the directions that the wind may come. And if it's not coming a certain direction, they there's like little like shutters that shut off that side, and they open up the other side or something.
Oh yeah, I was thinking that. Like there's some like kind of butterfly valve thing going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
that's cool. It kind of gives it like a heart kind of.
Oh yeah. There's like a churning noise in the middle of it when the wind changes direction, so like everything becomes still for like 3 seconds, and then the wind picks up in a different direction.
That completely.
And then you can hear everything like churn.
Like the feeling of the place too.
Yeah, that's your like fancy like set piece thing about Valley.
Yeah,
was missing.
Yeah. There's your hook.
Oh,
yeah.
Denar, see you later. Thank you so much for stopping in and hanging out.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
Okay, this is what we're doing. I'm so behind this idea.
Yeah, I mean, just the idea of it like making sounds, giving like a weird presence to the it would just be so alien if somebody didn't live there.
It's so cool. This is so cool. A retro leather patched version.
Ooh, and maybe we can do something with sand and like rocks where like there's some kind of like it's like following the gravitational pull of like the natural like eroding of the rock inside it, so like every once in a while you can hear something like crumble or crack and it like shifts the lever down inside it.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Epic Beard Man, welcome to the stream. Thank you so much for stopping in, saying hello. If you've got any questions you want to ask, feel free to ask them. If there's anything we can do to help you, or anyone in the stream can, be more than willing to oblige. Gosu, I'm going to check out the link you posted. Let's see what Gosu said to see.
I'm gonna get back to that thing I was doing.
Oh yeah, that'd be kind of cool. This is what Gosu's saying it might look like, or is getting an image for.
Let's see. This is like a ruddery kind of thing.
Yeah. This just added this cool, like this brutally awesome, non-existent. This is why game jams are great. Like
that would have never happened by myself or any one of us.
Yeah.
Like in our rooms alone.
Yeah.
That's why people work in offices together.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why people live in actual physical spaces together sometimes.
Just yeah.
How about that?
Just imagine hypothetically that we all dedicated our attentions to bank jobs instead. You could have just come up with the best teller system of all time.
Are we gonna have? Are they gonna have like some weird like bank teller like put like little things in cylindrical tubes and like send it across the?
Yeah. It's like, okay, but guys, it's not just a tube, right? It also makes sound when the wind hits it.
Yeah, like. Thunk.
Thunk. Yeah.
It's slowly turning into some like geological version of BioShock.
And no one's gonna believe us.
Yeah.
Easy time.
It's like, no, it was our idea. It was unique at once.
Gosu, you work at
We're-
EA? Wow.
We have a cool guy in our chat.
We've got a
Who
professional.
works at EA.
Gosu.
Whoa, no way. What do you do at EA, Gosu? That's cool.
Yeah. Thank you for descending from the heavens as our stream-based overlord, gracing us with your EA presence.
How does one be cool?
Yeah.
It requires a certain, how do you say, joie de vivre.
Oh, that sounds pretty cool.
Yeah.
FIFA live support. Oh, Frank, you play FIFA, right?
Play what?
You
FIFA?
play. Yeah, FIFA, right?
Actually, I prefer the competition.
Oh, you
Sorry
like?
about that.
Oh, okay. We won't tell him.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
Yeah. Sorry, Gosu. You didn't hear anything Frank just said. Don't unfollow because of Frank. We love you. Frank, look what you've done. Do you enjoy it? Yeah, do you enjoy your job at EA? You're drawing power lines.
I'm drawing the tube.
The tube. Okay, I see.
It's like a futuristic city.
Yeah. Draw them. I'm actually a QAPOC. Question and answer person of
Communication.
communications. Person of compromises. President of communications. Yeah, I feel like EA itself has a bad rap, but the people working there have to be pretty cool, right? Like assistant lead. Oh, great. I mean, like even if the company you work for is shitty, or is perceived as being shitty, like you're obviously going to bring your everything to your job. It's your career. And I think, I mean, point of contact, I see. Gosu skills, do you find that people that working with the community, like the gaming community, with their perception of EA makes it harder for you?
Oh man, this has turned into an interesting talk show.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just interested. I'm sorry. If you don't want to answer the question, or you can't answer the question because of an NDA or anything else like that, just feel free not to. And yeah.
You must answer this question.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, I'm glad that it doesn't. That's great.
I bet on an individual basis, everybody's pretty cool about it. It's just whenever you get into like this big like Reddit shitstorm,
Yeah.
then it
Yeah.
gets.
Because then everyone can be like, it's such a popular opinion to dislike the company. I mean, I've personally been boycotting ever since Mass Effect 2. But that's me. I didn't like Mass Effect 2 for the same reason that I don't like accidentally reaching down and drinking some Diet Coke when I expected coffee.
Somebody's hitting the keyboard really hard.
That's
Yeah.
me.
David, who's doing 3D? Can I ask?
That's some violence right there.
Epic Beardman 3D. We are doing 2D and 2.5D, but there's nothing in our game that's 3D. Actually, I've been working on a design doc that I can share with you guys if you're interested. It's not completed or anything like that, but it might give you a better overall understanding of what we're doing and why we're doing it, and in which ways we're choosing to do it.
Yeah.
What is your opinion on coin sellers? Interesting. I'm interested in hearing this too. Yeah, I'm sorry. I know your name is Epic Beardman 3D, and you were probably looking for 3D. Unfortunately, I cannot satisfy that for you. Our artists are fantastic 2D artists. We asked them to do something in 3D once, and I threw up for 3 or 4 days. Both of my parents died. I hit this this point in my life where I developed crippling alcoholism, which is why I have this dry sherry in my bed with me, and we've stuck with 2D ever since.
Yeah. This sounds like the same thing that happened to me when I tried to retopologize something.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The bad decisions are made by the producers and development directors, so no testers, dev, artists. Gosu, have you ever worked with one of those producers or devs? You know, you probably get asked questions about EA regardless of the stream that you're in, as soon as people know. So I apologize if we are in any way at all.
I mean, he probably expected it if he wanted to, if he was going to say it to the entire chat.
I guess, but it's kind of like when you, like if I saw, what's his name? If I saw Tim Schafer out somewhere, right? Like, if we started talking about game design, eventually it's going to come back to Grim Fandango. Because I love that game. Like, we're going to talk about it. But he probably has the Grim Fandango conversation every time he starts a conversation about game design with someone. You know?
I hope not.
Like, regardless of what he's doing, he could want to talk about Brutal Legend all he wants, but eventually, someone's going to be like, "Hey, how'd you like working on Grim Fandango?" And like, Tim Schafer's probably a nice guy. He's probably nice enough to even like entertain the question and act like no one's ever asked him before. But maybe Gosu is that nice of a person. But Gosu, I hope we are not pressuring you into a Tim Schafer style Grim Fandango situation. And if we are, feel free to just refuse our advances.
Hereby known as the Tim Fandango situation.
Tim Fandango.
It's like, who would eat more babies, Ubisoft or EA?
Yeah. On a scale from genocide to atrocity, how bad is EA? Take your time.
Man, you guys didn't absorb the Tim Schafer conversation at all, did you?
I think the Tim Fandango situation is kind of good. Like, I've met people who have worked on pretty famous games, and like it's like there's a certain tension where you're like, should I ask them about like what it was like to work on that big game I know?
Mm-hmm.
And usually I feel like it's mean to or something. I don't usually do it.
You want to acknowledge what they've worked on, and you want to connect to their work in some way. In the same way that people are like, if it's raining outside and you're both outside, you're like, hey, it's raining. You know?
Yeah, but it's not like, hey, it's raining, because it's not like we're inside their game all of a sudden. It's more like, hey, I know you from that game, but it's not like that person is walking around, hey, talk to me about that game I made. They're more like just another person in the world.
But it's just as pressing and visceral. It's like I think conversations with those people are like in Mass Effect when you're talking with an NPC and the same conversation option keeps on popping up. Like, no matter what you're talking about, you've been talking about the Reapers for 20 minutes, but there's still a conversation option to punch them in the face every single time you move on to a new like part of the conversation. You know, as you see that option more, you're like, I think I might want to punch you in the face. You know?
But life is that you always have the opportunity to punch someone in the face. Just like I always have the chance to talk to someone about some like famous game that they worked on, but I choose not to because they have like the rest of their life.
Yeah, but you don't
Like
always get
there's
to ask.
always another option to punching someone in the face, you know?
I guess so. But I don't get
I
the
like
option.
that. I like that. It sounded like you were relenting to that. You're like, I don't know.
I don't always get the option to punch people in the face, you know? So when that conversation is particularly
you do,
pressing,
though. You just don't always think about it.
I guess that's true.
It's like if you met a wrestler or like a famous fighter, and we're like, oh man, you get punched all the time. I know like a lot of your fans punch you in the face. Maybe I should do it. And the guy like really doesn't like it, but he like expects it, so he deals with it. And so like you because you know he hates it, you don't do it for years and years and years, and then like years later, like I'm pretty drunk.
We're gonna talk
Thinking about
about
punch him in the
We're
face.
gonna talk about this. Hey.
And he's like, "Oh man, you were my one cool friend,
Stone Cold Steve Austin.
You were the only guy who would just saw past that bullshit." And you're like,
I imagine
gotta be honest with you, guy. I can't stop thinking about
this
it.
is called the Emma Watson dilemma.
How is this an Emma Watson dilemma?
Because I'm sure no matter where she goes, people call her Hermione, or like you can't not talk about it either.
I think that's the Seinfeld syndrome. I think that's
Seinfeld
different.
syndrome.
I think it's more of like a Rupert Grant thing.
Rupert Grant. Than an Emma Watson thing. You don't think it's more pressing for Emma Watson?
Well, I mean, she can like bring up examples. He can't.
Yeah, Rupert Grint. That's true. He drives like an ice cream truck now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he was in that one war movie that I saw a trailer for.
Oh yeah.
But that's like But I mean, I think that's how everybody knows him is.
He's gonna be Ron for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
That's true. But
Probably. Yeah.
But like, can you imagine like how many? Imagine you're Emma Watson. You're in a bar. A guy comes up to talk to you, right? Which has to happen frequently. And you're talking with him, and he's nice and great and funny, but he's like 20s, in his 20s. He clearly read Harry Potter. There's no way this guy doesn't know that you're Hermione Granger. Right? Like, there's no way. At what point in the conversation does that guy bring it up? Like, hey, it's cool that you played Hermione. Like, do you just throw it off like that and then get back to the fact that she is Emma Watson? Or do you... Like, is it the same in the conversation with Rupert Grint, or are you and Rupert Grint just totally cool because he's smoking you out in the back of his ice cream truck?
Yeah, well, Rupert Grint would probably be hanging out with everyday like blokes, but she's hanging out with like Prince Harry, you know.
That's true. Yeah, she is part of the Prince Harry crowd. I wonder if they're like more into. Do you think that Prince Harry and Prince Charles, is that his name? I hope that's his name.
That sounds like
the
a
king
prince
guy. He's gonna be the king someday.
He goes by Chuck.
Chuck, yeah. Do you think that they were like really into Harry Potter? They're like, oh, if only I could escape Buckingham Palace.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like such a terrible life. They're trapped under like the 6th floor grand foyer.
Yeah, hitting the Pomeranians with kill curses.
Yeah.
Or the corgis, right? It's corgis.
Do you think maybe they paid people to pretend for them that there was magic?
Yeah, but they didn't know that it was. They were paid for it, that it was pretend.
Yeah. There is real magic. It's called the tourist industry. It's what keeps our little slice of life alive, young princes. Buckingham Palace has got to be a cool place to live in. Like, I imagine every bed in that place is comfortable. There isn't an uncomfortable bed in Buckingham Palace. They just wouldn't allow it. You imagine if every bed in your house was comfortable?
I imagine that all the beds were like terrible. They're like all 800 years old. And
800-year-old beds.
Yeah.
But don't you think they'd have a room for the 800-year-old beds and the 700-year-old beds and the 600-year-old beds?
Probably.
Like there are bedrooms, but they're not bedrooms. They're like rooms for the beds.
Could be. I feel like they're museum rooms or something like that, and like use them in the order of how comfortable they are, and like when you have your entire family over, then you're like, oh, we give like the kids the really shitty beds because they can like sleep through everything, and then
Yeah.
everyone else uses the good beds because they're old.
But why allocate resources like that when you have infinite resources? Right?
Well, it's not infinite, but I know what you mean.
Yeah. Okay. But we can be hyperbolistic here.
Yeah.
If we have to be.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. They probably don't need to do that. I find it hard to believe that they even sleep in most of those rooms most of the time.
Yeah. They probably just buy out the bread and breakfast next door and then sleep there if they wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ghostly Skills. What are you? You said that you're focused on getting game design experience. Is there any one avenue of game design that you're pursuing? Apologies for our Buckingham Palace conversation, by the way. I just find it interesting that there's like a small percentage of human beings who still live in castles. Like, that we still care about ritual enough that that's a part of our life that we just accept. Like, there's a king and a queen, and there's going to be another king, and we're really excited that the king got married and is having a baby. It's pretty great. We'll broadcast that somewhere. Especially, like, it seemed like it was less of a big deal here, but like in British tabloids, I assume that the whole royal marriage and then wedding and baby thing was like just gigantic. It must be inescapable. And inescapable for them as well, you know. They're having a baby just like normal human beings, but that baby is royalty. I wonder if the current prince is going to tell his child that he had it harder than they do. Is that a conversation you ever have with your child if you're royalty? Not currently. I'm trying to get some experience and basic knowledge. It doesn't really matter what projects I work on when I'm in the process of learning basics. Ghostly Skills, if you want links to any design texts, I can put them in the Twitch for you. I have a couple of them open right now. If you're interested in reading in your spare time, those will help you a lot. If you're interested in learning straight game design, like just becoming a game design generalist, the Extra Credits YouTube playlist for game design is an incredible resource to start with. I recommend that over any other single thing that you could read or watch or interact with, besides lots of video games, because it will condense all of the things that you absolutely need to know that will make you want to learn more into about a day's worth of videos. Speaking of that, Kirby, I need to watch that. Yes, you do, FlameFoxx. You absolutely need to watch that. I'll go post a link to it, because I think it's that important. Extra credits. I'm sorry that we won't be watching Frank Animate Smoke for a little bit. Game design playlist. You know, I wouldn't even be offended if you guys stopped watching our stream and started watching these instead. More than anything else that we could, like, I think there are some things that maybe if we're focusing on specifically with what you're watching Frank do right now, this playlist will not address any of the essentials of learning how to animate something, do artwork. Hold on, who's in this call? Is George in this call?
George is in this call.
George, you're in this call? Kirby, I have noted here that you wanted Kickstarter information to not be what we were replacing with. Unsure. in a moment. George is alive.
I'll believe it when I see it.
He just typed to me. George.
Could be Miowa.
Honestly, yeah, it could be Miowa. You're right.
Or Frank.
That's not Frank. I know Frank. Frank would try and screw with me first.
So trusting. So kind.
But isn't that the opposite of trusting? Knowing that Frank is going to screw with me?
No, that means you're just endeared to his trickster ways.
Frank is the Frank isn't the rogue that stabs you in the back. Frank is the rogue that sets tripwires in the whole forest.
Yeah.
He's not trying to kill you, he just wants to inconvenience you.
Yeah.
That's what we love about Frank. Hi, you can trust him to screw you. Yes. Beautiful George. Frank, is the smoke driving you crazy yet, or are you still enjoying it? You are muted, by the way.
Yeah, I just unmuted my Mega. I'm just, you know, trying to figure it out, how to make it look nice when it's blown away.
Cool, thanks. I'm currently working on some Unity game development courses on Udemy, which will start to watch the extra part. Okay, cool. Frank, what you might do is, after it gets blown away completely, there's like a segment where it loops into smoke generating back up again. So it doesn't go straight from blowing out to... I don't know. That's my weak, uninitiated, non-animator brain talking. Unity game development courses. Well, that's what we're working in, is Unity. So if you're interested in that side of development at all, on Tuesday and Thursday evenings, our programmer streams the build that we have. Generally, he's working on combat build stuff. This evening, he'll be hopping around 8:30, and he'll start to work on the movement system. "11 viewers. Love it. Yeah." Delete the frames. No, don't delete any frames, Frank. Those beautiful frames can never be recovered.
It just did.
Frank, you're so... I said you were fickle earlier. I think it's more that you're haphazard.
Haphazard, what does that mean? Enlighten me, please.
Haphazard. Haphazard is like... if you do things haphazardly, you're doing them without care for the consequences of said actions, but it's almost got like a less deterministic connotation. It's as though you don't even pay attention to consequences at all. You let the books fall. It's almost like the absent-minded professor archetype. Like if you stack things